Hi, welcome to this week's edition of Lessons from Winners and Losers in the Stock Market, brought to you by Y Investment. Today is 12th February 2024. So this is Winners and Losers from last week trading in the stock market. The first company that won big time last week was Applied Materials with ticker AMAT. It made a whopping 70% in 5 days of trading. And the idea of this short video is to look at how did that happen so that we can learn and hopefully participate in such big win in the coming weeks. The first thing is that there is some consolidation around the 165, 167 area, which is very visible. And then there's a big breakout out of this consolidation area with a reasonable volume, as you can see in the cursor, and that then continued, and then we had a big gap up on the last day of trading of the week, which was Friday. So the takeaway here is find a stock and identify an area of consolidation and wait for a breakout with decent volume to participate in a move like this. Also, we checked earning and revenue report in the last quarter was quite decent. There was an earning surprise of 6% and a revenue surprise of 3%. If you know what that means, we'll cover that in subsequent videos. So basically, the report was better than the expectation of the analyst. That is very important. Keep that in mind. Let's move to the next stock that won big last week. The second one is Eli Lilly and Company. It's a drug company. If you are following the stock market, obesity drugs is quite a big trend now, and this is one of the clear leaders in that space. Again, what do you see? There's an area of consolidation around 642 area, clearly visible. You don't need to use torchlight to find this area of consolidation. And again, there is a break out of the consolidation area on big, massive volume, where my cursor is. And of course, this is due to a very powerful earning surprise on this day. And this continued, and at the end of the week, there was a decent return of 10% on that stocks. Very interesting, if you ask me. So again, find area of consolidation, and then look for a break above that area with big volume. Okay, we've looked at two winners last week. It's also important to look at losers because the stock market is not always about winning. You win some and you lose some. So you need to also know, how does a losing trade play out? Why do stock sort of go on a losing run? And it might be like a losing run for a stock, but as a trader, as an investor, you can even benefit on this by shorting the stock if you know what to look out for. Again, which company are we looking at? It's Air Products and Chemical. They lost 14% last week. Again, clearly, you can see first here a consolidation. This area around 258, 255 area, clearly. And then there is a big break below that area with a big volume. I think that was on Monday, and it happened also that the earnings and revenue report was released by the company, and there was a surprise of 5% in terms of earnings, and 5% also surprise on the negative side in terms of revenue. So negative earning and revenue surprise also it's quite powerful working against the stock. So leading to a big dump of this stock by investors. And as you saw, there was a loss of 14% in a week. The last ticker we will look at for last week is Moderna, a very fairly popular company that was involved in discovery, production of COVID vaccines, an important drug company, if you ask me. And again, we saw that it can identify clearly area of consolidation before this time, around $97. And then when that broke, first it broke and then went up again and then came right back and went through this support area, continuing downwards until where we have a loss of 10% in 1 week. I always go back to check the last earnings quarterly report of this company. It turns out that for Moderna, their last quarterly report, there was a negative surprise in terms of earnings by 393%. That is very significant. Even though on the revenue side, things were rose to 32, but then the surprise in terms of earning was quite serious. So that is what we saw last week in terms of winners and losers for the week. And in the 4 cases that we reviewed, clearly the ability to identify support resistance area is very important. And how do you identify that? You identify that by looking at where price tend to congregate. You can see price around here. Price retested the area here. So where price tends to stand for a few days around the area, that is an area where price is congregating. The same thing around here, the same thing around here, the same thing around here. So that becomes an important resistance or support in this case, depending. And you must pay attention to that. And then if price breaks above or below these key support levels, it tends to go up or down in a big way, particularly if it is supported by big volume. So the breakdown or breakthrough through the support resistance area in big volume. And another thing that we learned is the last earning reports is an important factor. I hope you can reflect on this and integrate that into your stock analysis and investment. Do, of course, be aware that we are only here to share insights. We are in no way making any recommendations. I wish you a very successful trading week until I come your way again very soon. Bye.